All right, Shalom. Let me get straight into this lesson, but the Spirit jumped on me to go back into this Daniel 10 and chapter 10 and 6 because I saw something that'll be very edifying to the brothers and the sisters. So let's get all into this lesson. So this is who's coming back to this earth. The so-called angry black man that's going to destroy Babylon, right? With a host of angels, right? But this is what you've been presented as the truth. This is the plantation Christianity image. This is the so-called white man image that he created, right? And this actually goes back into the Greek Empire with Serapis Christus. And you had the Roman Empire had their Greek gods and Roman gods. Among the Greek, you had the Greek Empire first, and then you had something called the Roman Empire, then the Greco-Roman, right? So this is what's seared in our people mind, their imagination, their spirit, right? Because they've been showing this image ever since they was a little kid. And the spirit hit me like anybody can make an image. You ever thought about that? Anybody can produce an image, right? Anybody can do that, right? So the so-called white man had you in hardcore slavery. You don't think he'll lie to you about your so-called God? Right. So let's go here. There's a few things I want to hit before I get into that Daniel 10 and 6. And that Daniel 10 and 6 is going to kill the argument that you Christians have, because you Christians like to say, you come up with all this bug that stuff. He didn't have no color, just on and on. You'll say color don't matter. Now, all of a sudden that he's a so-called black man and it's becoming common knowledge, all of a sudden color don't matter. And you have our stupid effing people repeat that, right? And I was thinking about how powerful is the image. Let's get into that first. It says the power of images of Hamashiach at the very top. It says images of Hamashiach, they got Christ here, are powerful tools for those who practice Christianity. You hear this? I'm going to read this again. It says images of Hamashiach are powerful tools for those who practice Christianity. This is a tool of psychological warfare. This image and every likeness of this image. That's why you're brainwashed, right? That's why you think the Bible is a so-called white man book, but you got duped. It says, I'm going to read this again. It says images of Hamashiach are powerful tools for those who practice Christianity. I'm going to add to this. It's a powerful tool of brainwashing and indoctrination. That's why they have this image everywhere you look in documentaries. You could be watching a biblical documentary and they're going to show that image. They're going to show all the Israelites to look like so-called white people. And a lot of these historians and scholars know this is a lie, but they have to push it so they can continue to keep their career. And plus they devils. It says they have the ability to invoke deep emotions and stir the soul. That's why this image is so powerful to the core of the spirit. And this reinforces, I'm not going to stop saying it, so-called white supremacy, which is the Edomite supremacy. This image look like a woman. This not our Messiah. I'm going to show you how he looked according to the scriptures. Let's go here. Check this out. The very top. It says, of course, one reason for their doing so is that so the artists are religious people of faith with a strong spirituality which feeds their work. You hear this? So they have to have an image to push the so-called white supremacy. And this image was used to conquer your mind, your spirit, your soul, your self-value, right? And this is the pinnacle of so-called white supremacy. And they do this something called storytelling, right? So they go into all these different movies, these Hollywood movies that's showing the Israelites as so-called white people. They even so bold, they even whitewash the Egyptians. Matter of fact, let me get my book. Okay? Let me get my book on the Egyptians, right? So I'm going through my book on the Egyptians, right? And these are all so-called black people, right? But yet, this devil will show you in his movies that the Israelites and the Egyptians were so-called white. They even got a tomb was showing the Israelites doing construction with the brick and mortar as so-called brown flesh men. But yet this devil will show in his movies as them being so-called white. That's a part of his witchcraft. Let's go here. Check this out. It says as a form of storytelling, Salakia. It says, are images more powerful than words? And they are. Because I had found this article. I can't find it right now, but I get it in another lesson, right? That says images are more powerful than words because they can cross over to different languages. It's universal. That's why when you go into the Catholic Church, the word Catholic means universal, right? They got this universal image, right, that reinforces so-called white supremacy. All right, so let's go into the true color, how the Messiah truly looked. How he looked. Salaki. Put this book back. Right? So let's get all into this so you can get it. So first off, I'm going to start off with Revelations chapter 1. And let me start at 15. Because, brothers already know white like wool is hair. Right? 15. It says, in his feet, and it's talking about the Messiah. Matter of fact, let me go to it so you can see. And Jake, you got to start doing more homework. You got to start being more studious. We can't do everything for you. You can't blindly follow what we say. You have to do your own investigation, and you women too, right? We supposed to be striving to be scholars, not lazy. Revelations 1:1. The revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. And if you were studious, you'll know the name Jesus. It wasn't no Jada 15:24. So that's impossible that his name was Jesus. It says, was God gave, or Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants things that which must surely come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Let's jump down. So this Yahweh, right? And he's giving you a description because he know it would be a controversy that these devils would use false images to enslave our people mentally. Right? Revelations 1:15. And his feet, your feet is going to be the same color the rest of your body is. And this is the description of the Messiah, as you know, as Jesus. Unlike the fine brass, okay? Brass is a brownish color. It says, as if they burned in a furnace. So if you don't play stupid, when you take anything and throw it in the furnace, it's going to turn dark, right? And his voice has the sounds of many waters. So he had a loud, austere man's voice, not this soft-spoken Edomite that you've been given. This is modern day witchcraft. A lot of you jakes want to know what witchcraft is. Anybody can make an image. You got to always remember that. Let's go here. So let's go into this, the precept to this, right? So we know that his feet was like the fine brass as if it burned in a furnace. That's a dark-skinned man, right? Daniel 10:6. Matter of fact, give me 1 second. I think I'm going to go to the whole thing. Go to the whole chapter, Daniel chapter 6, Salakia 10. 1 second. All right, and while Jake getting into all these things that's unprofitable, this truth is heavy. Truth is coming out, and your spiritual life need to be waking up, right? Instead of worried about basketball and football, that's all vanity. It's not going to bring you nothing. Daniel 10, and let me go down to 5. All right. Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold and Uphaz. So 6. His body was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning. He had a glorious look, a glow, like that light, like trimming his face. And his eyes as the lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet. I want you to pay attention to this. This is very important. And people overlook this and overread it because they don't want to acknowledge this. All right. So his arms, well, if you look at your body, look at your arms, right? And his feet, you look at your feet, right? This is the body. Like in color, I thought he didn't have no color. I thought color don't matter. It matters because you put this false image up that has blinded the minds of our people for generations. It says to polish brass. The same thing that we just jumped from. Brass. Polish. I'm going to go into that word polish so you can see what that really means. All right. And the voice of his words as the voice of multitude. So this is the same description. Let me go here so you can know it's talking about the Messiah. You got people that try to trip us up, right? You can't gainsay the word, right? So Daniel 10:6, Bible commentary. Let's go to the let's get straight to the point. At the top to the left, Matthew Henry's concise commentary, because you Edomites have tried to undo this and you just can't. You start reaching, you can't reach, right? Right here. It says the chapter relates the beginning of Daniel's last vision, which is continued to the end of the book. It says the time, right here to the left, to the top, the time would be long before all would be accomplished, and much of it is not yet fulfilled. It says Hamashiach, that got Christ. It says appeared to Daniel in a glorious form. Well, there you go. Right? He was in a spiritual body, as in the appearance of a so-called black man. So that means in the physical form that when he was here in the flesh, he was a so-called black man, right? That's just common sense. Why would he be a so-called black man in a spiritual body and come down here and be a so-called white man with long hair? As he condemned that, as he dealt strictly with Paul, and Paul said, if a man have long hair is an abomination to him. Who did he get that from? Yahweh taught Paul. All right. So this is not our Messiah. This is a fraud. Anybody can make an image. That's something you got to constantly remind yourself, right? There you go. So let's go back, right? So I'm going to read a different version so you can understand what that word polish means in this context. Daniel 10:6. Let's go to at the top, New King James Version. His body like the beryl. His face, this Daniel 10:6. His face like the appearance of lightning. His eyes like torches of fire. His arms and his feet like burnished bronze, but they're supposed to be brass. All right. In color. So he had this the same description that we see in Revelation chapter 1 and 15. Let's go to this word burnished. Let's go to burnished brass so you can see. Right? Let's go to burnished brass so you can see right here. This even says it at the bottom. So can't nobody gainsay. Can't nobody try to undo this. Burnished brass at the very bottom. Dark brown. He's a dark brown skinned man. Right? And this is the likeness of Yahushua. Right? This would be a true, more accurate depiction of how he looked. This is how the Bible describes him, how he looked. Right? So if you really believe in the Bible, right, you're going to understand this and really adhere to this and not scoff, right? But so-called white people not good. I saw a video of a brother was dealing with the Edomite. She almost fainted because she understood what he was saying. A lot of these Edomites are trying to play dumb on you, right? A lot of them are delusional because they don't want to deal with this issue. Because again, they've been lied to about these so-called white supremacy and they don't want to let go of that. But that's not our fault. We're going to bring this truth out no matter who feelings we hurt, right? When you tell people the truth, it hurt feelings. When you tell them what they want to hear, right, we ain't going to do that, right? So that's why they keep reinforcing these images in these documentaries, these books, these magazines, these cartoons. They're going to keep doing it, right? To keep the veil of lies and the veil of confusion on Jake. But this Daniel 10:6 clearly describe him as a so-called black man, right? Hopefully this lesson was edifying. Call Allah Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahavashai, Bahashim, Rachak, Kodash. Shalom.